is Estevan.
Ryan McCarthy, watching in upstate New York, says, why does Saskatchewan have the best town names? Paradise Hill, Moose Jaw. Well, he says Flin Flon, and that's actually Manitoba. And frankly, I'm partial to Medicine Hat.
How about that?
I also learn something every day. We learned today that Flin Flon, Manitoba stands for Flint Tibeti Floniton, a fictional character from a 1905 novel.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the RP Show on a Flame Tech Football Friday. If I had my bell, I'd be ringing it, but we've lost it. But that's okay. It's our final show from the Centennial Cup presented by Tim Hortons. And what a time to be leaving as we head into the playoffs here. But it is a Flame Talk Football Friday. We'll be talking a lot of football today as we welcome in our co-host, the lovely, talented, and the affable Darren Moose Dupont. How you doing, Moose?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Good. Are you ready to talk sports for the next 2 hours?
Oh, yeah.
And then some great hockey this weekend?
Yeah.
Yes, life is good. And coming up in hour one, the CFL preseason kicks off tonight. There are some football issues to get to, but there's a lot of hockey talk to get to. And Joe Watson, an absolute stud, dog. Philadelphia Flyers, two-time Stanley Cup champion. From the 70s. He was up here last night speaking at the banquet with us. He's going to join us right here on set. A Philadelphia sports icon. Really close friends with Dick Vermeil. You're going to enjoy that in hour one. In hour two, John Hodge will join us from 3downnation.com. He broke the story yesterday or last night that the CFL players were voting and then ratifying the owner's proposal. And there will be ball for all and football in Winnipeg tonight and also Ottawa. So those are the guests. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? Because everybody's tuning in. I even see it from the football people that are watching, expecting us to talk about what happened last night at the Saddledome in Calgary. The Edmonton Oilers are off to the Western Conference Final. Connor McDavid scored a 5:03 of the first overtime as the Oilers defeated the Calgary Flames 5-4 to win their second-round playoff series in 5 games. The Edmonton captain fired his 7th goal of the postseason past Jacob Markstrom to send the Oilers spilling over their bench in celebration. But that's not the goal that everybody's talking about. How much time was left, Moose, when the Blake Coleman goal occurred?
Under 6 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say inside 9 minutes.
It was 5 and a bit.
Banquet, it was 4-4, and I saw it in my hotel room here at the Days Inn. Full disclosure, right out of the gate, if you're an Oilers fan or a Flames fan, you are recused from an opinion because you're just clearly biased. You don't see it like the rest of us. I was cheering for both teams. I'm happy that the Oilers won. I would have been happy if the Flames had won the series. The goal should have stood. And before we go any further, that's our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Vote on it now on Twitter or YouTube. Should the Blake Coleman goal have counted? 61% of you, the last I saw, know the rule book and said yes. Now, I would have liked to have talked to some officials about this. They were all drunk at the banquet last night, so I couldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I don't know. I left. But I still would have liked to talk to them. You can't get a straight answer out of those guys anyways. But I thought the rule book had been changed because the NHL and CHL rule book is the same, right? They mimic each other.
Yeah.
They took out the kicking motion. If it goes off your skate, kicking or not, I thought the goal was to stand. That's A. B, they say if Coleman hadn't touched it at all, the puck would have gone in. Oilers were the better team, so the Flames aren't getting off the hook because of that. But I'll just say right now, I thought the rule stated that That should have been a good goal. Similar to the Brett Hull goal back in the day. It shouldn't be a gray area in the rule book for something like that. And it's unfortunate, Darren, that it kind of marred a series-clinching game.
It did. We're going to think back to it and think the fans deserve a Game 6 in both markets. They deserve more of this hockey. When he redirects it in, I thought it was a good goal, too. I'm with you on that. What they took out with the kicking motion, it's anywhere outside the crease. You can kick it in. The kicking motion doesn't matter. If it's in the crease, you can't. But he redirected it. I thought it was fine. But, at the end of the day, when McDavid scored the overtime winner, and then how excited he got, and then if you saw the video of him going into the locker room down the tunnel, that's the Connor McDavid we want to see. When he's emotional like that and happy, and you see a kid who just loves to play hockey and loves to win and is so passionate, that's a guy who's extremely likable, and it makes me want to cheer for the Oilers.
I've been thinking a lot about him and just the fact that he never asked for a trade in all those dark times, 7 seasons there, and it just seems like he is the type of player that would never ask for a trade, and he hasn't, and it seems like it's paying off. And to say that they might win the Stanley Cup, why not? They're into the Final Four now. I didn't think they were going to win the series. A lot of Oiler fans didn't even think they were going to win the series, but they did. So Bob's your uncle. Anything can happen now. Mercury's in retrograde. It is a second season. It's not the same as the regular season. You're finding out why. James Henderson's watching in Manitoba. He says, I hate both teams, but I thought it was a good goal. I've seen 2 or 3 similar goals that were called good. Right? But it's interesting. I would like your take on this, too. Farhan, our good friend Farhan Lalji from TSN, weighed in on this on Twitter, and he said the NHL is bigger than this. Basically, they won't feel the hit, I think is what his exact term was, and that the NHL, they're above getting blasted a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to move this light. I can't even see you. It's right in the middle of us.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll do that. We'll do that in the break.
Blinded. So occupational hazard. Anyways, is the NHL bigger than the criticism of this, or will they feel bad today that maybe they blew one?
They might feel bad that they blew one, but no, they're big enough that this isn't going to affect their business. It's just not. This isn't going to really change how they do business or really give them any hit. It's just they might have made, they might think that they made a mistake, but that's about it. They'll think about it you know what, maybe we could have went the other way and the series would still be going and everything would be great, but no, they won't lose much sleep over it. And nor should they.
William, well, do you think they blew it?
No.
Yeah, well then they should be able to. I think if they feel they did the best they can and calling that,
that's
they
the thing.
Should be fine.
I do think it was a good goal. So when you say blew it, I mean it was so close and it's so divisive. And you look at our poll results, right? That it wasn't so obvious. You know what I mean? Like a high stick that was missed or something like that. So it was a bit of a gray goal. And
well, Flames fans have a built-in excuse now.
Yeah.
That they. And I don't say this sarcastically or to be a jerk. I mean, they can hang their hat on this and say, well, hey, the refs cost us the series. But it was a 5-game series. They weren't themselves. They weren't even really in the series after Game 1. So that's unfortunate because we're going back to Calgary next month to Grey Eagle, and we're hoping to be broadcasting from a Stanley Cup final. Guess we're going to Edmonton. And William writes in, somebody says, I'm the same. Yes, William May watching in Lloydminster. He says, same with me, Rod. I was cheering for both teams. You can actually cheer for both teams. We do business with both teams. We have friends with both teams. Our business guy, Lee Genier, grew up in Ontario. He said he's a fan of both the Leafs and the Canadiens. I'm like, how can you do that? But I guess if we can be the fans of both the Flames and Oilers,
yeah,
it's possible. So I'm happy for the Oilers. I'm happy for their fans, but I feel terrible for the Calgary Flames and their fans because they expected so much more than this. So we invite you to vote on our poll and chime in with your thoughts on the text line 902-518-3033 or in the chat. There is another series going on, by the way, or there was another one last night. The Carolina Hurricanes own a 3-2 lead in their second-round series following a 3-1 victory over the New York Rangers. The Canes won with special teams as Vincent Trocheck scored shorthanded, and Teuvo Teravainen added a rare power play goal for Carolina, who've struggled with a man advantage. That's the other game last night that nobody's talking about. Point 2, Centennial Cup, presented by Tim Hortons, here at Affinity Place in Estevan. Quarterfinals begin today, 4 p.m. Mountain, 6 Eastern. It is the Flin Flon Bombers, one of my favorite teams in this tourney, facing the Pickering Panthers. They're not one of my favorite teams in this tourney. 4 p.m. local. And then at 7:30 here, 9:30 Eastern, it's Collège Français de Longueuil, Quebec, don't you know, versus the Summerside Western Capitals. I'll be cheering for Summerside because my good friend Billy McGuigan is their head coach, former Regina Pats assistant coach. Doubleheader beginning at 4 Mountain, 6 Eastern. You can watch it all at hockeycanada.ca. This week's coverage of the Centennial Cup is brought to you in part by Cavendish Farms, proud supporter of junior hockey across Canada. Thank you for jumping on board. Point 3, the CFL Players Association ratified its new collective bargaining agreement last night. The ratification came 2 days after Commissioner Randy Ambrosi unveiled the league's final offer to its players. The deal must also be ratified by the Board of Governors, but that's not expected to be an issue. With the players accepting the agreement, the league's exhibition season will open tonight with a doubleheader. Two games, not a doubleheader. Toronto at Ottawa, Edmonton at Winnipeg. We will get into that because it is a Football Friday. We'll talk about what we're going to be looking for in any preseason game, let alone these ones. But I was thinking about people that were writing the show yesterday saying, Rod, your impression of Brian Williams is bang on. And I was thinking, thank you for that. Been around him a lot. And then I'm thinking, Chris Jones, he's going to be on the sidelines in Winnipeg tonight with Edmonton. And the last time Chris Jones was on the sidelines with Edmonton was the Grey Cup in 2015 when they won it.
Yeah.
Who says you can't go back? Because he did. And I was thinking about that in the washroom here at Affinity Place this morning. We'll kick this around later.
Yeah.
Who says you can't go back? But I was thinking, what if Brian Williams, John Lynch, and Chris Jones had a hot stove?
Oh, boy.
I can do impressions of all of them.
Yeah.
Brian Williams, 1966 Grey Cup. John Lynch, you were there. Set the scene. Oh, the 1966. Oh, what a game. What a game. I could go on. We've been waiting our whole life, the first Grey Cup. Chris Jones, you were watching in Alabama as a young lad. I'll tell you what. Yep. I was down there in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. It's right there on the Florida-Georgia line. It's in black and white. And it's two teams called the Rough Riders and the Rough Riders. How about some bitch? I said, you throw $100 down there in the Rough Riders for me.
Oh,
that's just off the top of my head. But we could do like a hot stove and personally, would that be a lot of fun?
Oh, it would be amazing. We should do it.
And the Rough Riders won. What will you be watching for tonight, if anything, in the preseason games? Toronto, Ottawa will be on TSN.
Not much. I think I'm a football guy, so I love watching all the position battles. But when I watch preseason, I watch like a fan, Rod.
Yes.
I watch like a fan and like a kid. So what will I watch for? The quarterbacks, right? The backup quarterbacks. Who's going to be the next guy in Ottawa? Where are they going to go at that position? What's going to happen in Toronto? So I'm looking for that. Some of the skill position guys. See if any names jump off the board. That's kind of what I'll be watching tonight.
Watch it for fun.
Yeah.
I'm watching it differently now than when I was a play-by-play voice in the team, in the league. Craig in Calgary writes in, says, amazing. That was with absolutely no polish whatsoever. Last night I was lying in bed. It was 11:45 p.m., and I was thinking we could do a fun hot stove with those three guys, Brian Williams, Chris Jones, and John Frenzy. And then I thought I was a loser for not being asleep yet, and while I was thinking about that, what's wrong with me? And then I find out that you're out in the bar till 1:30 in the morning with all of Estevan. That's what I love about this town. They don't even ask me to go out anymore. They know the deal.
Yeah.
You were out doing public relations last night.
I know my role, and yeah, exactly. We all play a role on the team, and it was good last night. The place was jammed, and I can say this now because they're not playing. The Estevan Bruins were in there last night, having a good time. So it was good.
Any stories you can share?
None I can share. Except that I'm disappointed that I didn't get to meet Estevan's most popular.
Maybe tonight.
Okay.
We'll be around here for a little while longer. Craig Smith watching, our director of scouting. We haven't heard from Smitty for a while. He says, love watching the new players. Thank God they're playing. William in Lloydminster says, I will be watching the preseason for the new rule changes and the rookies. Jeff in Winnipeg says, Rod has all those impersonations down to a T. That wasn't even my best. That was just rough. Give me some time to perfect it. Cooper Campbell watching in Mississippi says, outstanding, Rod. Thank you. Again, doubleheader. Actually, we got time here. Because Joe, have we seen Joe Watson?
We have not.
Okay, so it might be just me and him. It's okay.
But he does not own a cell phone.
Listen, man. We can talk more about the football next segment. Joe Watson, 79. Born the same year as my mom, whom we lost from cancer a couple years ago. And every time I see somebody my mom's age, I feel robbed. You know, fortunately, you haven't lived that.
Right.
And I pray you won't have to. This guy has energy and life of somebody half his age. Yeah. And he comes up and he says, Ron, I understand that you spent a lot of time in Boca Raton, Florida. I said, yes, I do. He goes, one of my best friends lives down there. I'll give you his number, Bernie Perrott. I'm like, what? What? Yeah, I know Bernie and his wife Gina. And he goes, well, here's his number, 601, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you remember that off the top of your head? He goes, I don't own a phone, I don't own a computer, but I can remember phone numbers.
He has to.
Like, he doesn't have a phone. He remembers it. Joe Watson, 2-time Stanley Cup winner with the Philadelphia Flyers, and man, did he entertain us last night. But I don't know, was he out late last night?
He's walking up right behind you.
He's coming. Okay, he's got the stories. So I'm gonna keep you on the hook until later on this hour, and then for sure hour 2 to get more into the CFL games. 2 of them tonight: Toronto at Ottawa and Edmonton at Winnipeg. Chris Jones returns to IG Field. What will you be watching for? Rough Riders Bombers next week. There's a lot to get into, but Joe Watson will join us next. We will be right back. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network. This has been the warm-up. We're also live streaming on YouTube, and we've got 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Rod Pedersen, back in Canada. He must be lost. On location, brought to you by the City of Estevan. Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. This is a bedtime story and a rise and shine. A fishing story.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
The Rod Pedersen Show, brought to you by Power Dodge Estevan.
Aerial coverage for the RP Show brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. Interesting comments coming in from our viewers. Can't remember, somebody said, I'm going to miss, Ryan H. watching on YouTube says, I'm going to miss the sound of the hockey in the background when we leave here. We'll have to pipe it in like crowd noise during the pandemic. Yeah, it's been great broadcasting all week long from the Centennial Cup presented by Tim Hortons right at ice level. We paused the Football Friday for Flame Tech to bring in, I'm going to tell you right now, a hockey living legend, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, Joe Watson. Let's put the camera on this guy. From Smithers, BC, played in the NHL from 67 to 78 with the Philadelphia Flyers, one season with the Colorado Rockies, 78-79, and actually broke in with the Boston Bruins in 1964. And you played for the Estevan Bruins for 2 seasons, Joe, as you know here, beginning in was it 60 or 61?
61.
Yeah.
61, yeah.
Smithers, BC to Estevan, Saskatchewan. You must have thought you'd gone to Vegas or something.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When I found out I was going there, I was very excited. I had the letter that, the invitation that I got in 1960. I still have it like I say, I hoard everything, so I've got that. But it took us 5 days to get down here from Smithers to Estevan, 5 days. And the guy that drove me down was my coach, and he was an engineer in the railroad CNR, and he drove me down here and drove myself. There's another guy named Butch Morris was from Smithers, and Brian Collison. Brian Collison played in Estevan for a couple of years too, and as well as Butch. But we came down here, and when I got down here, I found out there was 104 guys trying out for 4 positions, and I go to the guy that invited me, the scout. I said, "Why the hell did you invite me something like this?" He says, "Joey, if I didn't think you had a chance, I wouldn't invite you." That's all he had to tell me. So the rest, I took that under my wing and put it in my mind and what I had to accomplish, and here I am.
Literally, the rest is history. And you know, and it's funny. I'll ask you what I said just before we went to air. Are you having as good of time in Estevan as it appears?
Well, last night we sure had a good time. I'm trying to dry out a little bit here.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to go. And people remembered you. They were so excited to see you. Telling those stories. What was your favorite part of the banquet last night for the Sportsman's Dinner?
Favorite part was getting up there, listening to stories, getting the young guy, Pachal, the young boy.
Braden Pahal, yeah.
Yeah, Braden Pahal, yeah.
Vegas Golden Knights from here.
Yeah, and I thought he did a good job, and in your probably one of your first interviews, he was a little bit nervous, but he did a real good job. Once he got going, he got relaxed and everything else, and I thought he did a great job. And then, just a night seeing a lot of people I haven't seen for probably 50 years.
Yeah.
They'd come over and refresh my mind and where I met or what happened at the time and when I was here, and I remember that, and so on and so forth. So we had a good time.
Pretty awesome having you on the poster for the event and bringing you here to tell your story. So we got to tell the viewers that not only did you play for the Flyers for a very long time, again, checking for 67 to 78, the best time to be a Flyer, you worked for them for decades afterwards.
Yeah.
Tell the folks that.
Well, when I retired reluctantly. I broke my leg very badly, and Mr. Snyder, I broke it when I was with Colorado. I was only there for 16 games. And Mr. Snyder, the owner of the Flyers, when this injury took place, he came and approached me. He came out to St. Louis to see me in the hospital in St. Louis. He said, "Joe, I want you to work in the organization." I said, "Okay, fine." So he kind of more or less told me that he hired me, and but I was a year and a half in the hospital, off and on for a year and a half, because I broke my leg very badly. So once I got out of there, I started doing some scouting for the Flyers. In 1980, when the Flyers went to the finals against the Islanders, I preceded the team and go out and give reports to Pat Quinn about how I think we should approach this team to play them, and so on and so forth. So we started the advanced scouting, and I think the Flyers initiated the advanced scouting, and other teams followed suit. I remember the Rangers certainly followed suit as well as the Islanders did. And but I would go out and scout the opposition, then come back and give the reports to Pat and try to inform him. I think this is the way we should approach this game, and so on and so forth. And it really worked out very well. And then we go to the finals against the Islanders, and really a tough series. And I thought we got the short end of the stick by the officiating, and we should have won the damn thing, but we didn't. And I was traveling so much the next 4 years. And my kids were young. We just started having kids, my wife and I, and I just couldn't travel that much, because I'd be gone for 10 days and come home for 2 days and be gone for another 10 days. And my kids were, 6 months old, and I wasn't home enough to see my kids. And so I informed them I couldn't do that anymore. So in 1985, they asked me to sell advertising. So I started selling advertising for the Wells Spectrum, and then of course the Wells Fargo Center, and I've been doing that ever since till last year. They asked me to retire after 78, and I was upset because I had to retire at 78, and because I worked 54 years in the organization. And so it was very hard to accept. I'm just accepting it now after a year later. I'm getting better at it, but I'm still a little peeved that I had to retire.
Well, but you're repping the Flyers, and life's great. And I'm gonna jump all over the place a little bit, but the football people have tuned in today because we normally call it a Football Friday, but you were in here, so I had to get you on.
Oh.
So I said, who is the best Flyer ever? And you named him, and I'll ask you here now, but you said he couldn't skate and he couldn't shoot, but he's the best Flyer ever.
Yeah.
And explain why Bobby Clark
Bobby Clark was a guy, and he'll admit that he wasn't a great skater, and he couldn't shoot the puck, couldn't bring a pane of glass most of the time, but he was just the best player. He made himself the best player just the way he played, the tenacity on the ice. And he didn't say a lot off the ice, but on the ice, his actions spoke very well for themselves. And he was our leader, and he was the best Flyer ever. I know a lot of people ask me that question, and they think it's Lindros. Well, I say, no, it's not Lindros, it's Bob Clark. Bob Clark was the leader on the ice as well as off the ice, and just the best player.
Yeah, well, so Broad Street Bullies.
Right.
To this day, it's like I had no problem with it. I love that kind of hockey. Yeah. But there's a negative connotation to that era. How do you feel when people say that you guys were a bunch of goons?
Well, you know what? It's funny. If we were a bunch of goons, we did very well for a bunch of goons. We won 2 Stanley Cups. There's a lot of teams that had a lot more talent than us. They didn't win. So obviously we knew what the hell we were doing. And, hockey is a very physical game. It's a lot of contact and everything else, and it's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And we went out there and proved our game was just as good as somebody else's game. And we beat Boston in '74. You take a look at Boston; they had a big team, and they were very physical. And I remember before the first game against Boston, we hadn't beaten Boston in 7 years in their building. We go into Boston, and Freddie Sherrill says, "This is anticlimactic. We just beat a better team to get the finals, which was the Rangers, and then we're going to play Boston for the finals." And he says, "This is anticlimactic. The Rangers were a better team," and I thought they were the best team in the league that year. But we beat the Rangers in a very physical series also. And then we go to Boston, and Freddie says, "The only way we're going to beat this team, Boston, is be very physical, show no respect to them." and we didn't show very much respect to Boston. We went out there and banged them, and they banged us, and we had injuries, they had injuries, and we had Bernie Perrant, and he was probably he was instrumental in our success as far as winning that first cup. As Bernie made some, great, incredible saves.
Should he be in the discussion as the best goalie in NHL history?
I would say he's in the top 10. I think, you look at Jacques Plante. I know for the Canadians, they won 5 or 6 Stanley Cups. Jacques was a very stand-up goalie. Very seldom ever went down. You got Terry Sawchuk from Detroit. You got Glenn Hall from Chicago and Detroit. Jerry Cheevers, I thought, was a good a very good goaltender. But Bernie should be, and of course, Tretiak, the great Russian goalie, he's as good as anybody. I always thought he was as good as anybody. So there are a number of goalies that should be in the running for the best goalie. But Bernie's right there. I'd say in the top, anywhere from 5 to 10.
And all-time characters, too.
Yeah, you're right. He's a character, is right.
So before we went on the stage last night, I said, Joe, what should I ask you about? And you said, well, you got to ask me about the Russian Red Army game.
Yeah, well, the Russians are over here beating all the top teams in America. And we played a game on Thursday night in Toronto. And we beat Toronto. It's the only time I heard the fans cheer for us because they knew we were going to play the Russians in 3 days. And the Russians are over here beating all the top teams. And they had to play Montreal on a Friday night. And they tied in Montreal, and they came to Philadelphia. And we had uphold the prestige of hockey in North America by winning this game. And Clarence Campbell comes in the dressing room before the game, and Alan Nicholson came in the dressing room. Mr. Snyder comes in the dressing room and told him this and that. And Lloyd Gilmore was going to be the referee. That's all we had to hear, because Lloyd loved our style of play, and they came in and told us that they're going to let us play our game. And if you watch the opening game, the opening face-off, the Russians got the puck. They made about 20 passes amongst them. We stood there and watched them. They were somewhat confused because we didn't go after them. Freddie says, I want our defense to stand up at center ice and the forwards fall back, and we try to break their play up before they get going. And Freddie was right. We dominated them. We just dominated the game, and we outshot them 49-13. If Tretiak hadn't have played well, we would have beat them 10-1.
But they left the ice.
They left the ice about when Eddie Van Impe made a beeline on the penalty box for Karmeloff and knocked him down, and they thought it was a very severe check, and Eddie said, he ran into my elbow. That's what happened. I didn't hit him. He hit my elbow. Oh, Eddie got him pretty good.
Yeah.
But they walked off the ice, and so they had.
And why did they come back? Tell them why.
Well, what happened was they went and told them they're not going to get their 200,000 rubles if they didn't come back and play. And they proceeded to come back and play, and we just totally dominated. We dominated them to no end, but they got their 200,000 rubles. We got the win, and we were happy. And I never realized how big of an impact our game had until we went to Kansas City 2 days later, playing Kansas City. And Clarkie and I are walking around in the mall, this mall in Kansas City of all places, and we had people coming up and congratulating us in Kansas City of all places. Right? I didn't think they knew anything about hockey, but they did. They were excited for us too that we won. So it goes to show you the impact we did make on the game.
And that would be one thing now with the way news coverage is, but that was 1976.
Yeah.
I think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Right? Folks, it would be a disservice if I let Joe go here, so we're going to keep him for another segment if that's okay. Are you okay to stick around for a little bit?
Sure.
So, and I want to talk to you about the Centennial Cup, and I'm going to bring it up now because I got a far worse memory than you. I got a buddy who has a luxury suite up here, and he's got a Stanley Cup in there. And to sign it, you have to have won the Stanley Cup. And he's asked me if you would come up and sign his cup later today. Yeah.
Sure.
So he's got a lot of signatures on there.
Okay.
So don't let me forget, and I'll take it. Mike Lee's his name, Mydale Mike. You know Mike? You've seen the cup? Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Really?
Yeah. It's very exciting. So,
isn't that nice?
Yeah. So I promised him that I would get you to do that if you were agreeable, and I knew that you would. There's only one game slated in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. The St. Louis Blues are hosting the Colorado Avalanche and looking to force a Game 7. The winner of this series will see the Oilers in the Western Conference Final. Baseball, after taking the series opener, the Blue Jays are back at it in Anaheim tonight. Yusei Kikuchi will get the start for the Blue Jays, who have won 4 of their last 6 games. And with the CFL Players Association ratifying its new collective bargaining agreement, the 2022 preseason will kick off tonight. The Ottawa Red Blacks will entertain the Toronto Argonauts. It's on TSN. And the Edmonton Elks visit the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your official home of Slow Pitch, open Wednesday to Sunday for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. Back with more with Joe Watson from the Affinity Place in Estevan right after this. This is the Centennial Cup, brought to you by Tim Hortons on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
The Rod Pedersen Show, live from Estevan, is presented in part by the award-winning Wanda Heron Photography.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
This is a bedtime story and a rise.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
On location at the 2022 Centennial Cup, brought to you by the City of Estevan.
Beautiful sunny day in the Energy City, Affinity Place. Quarterfinals today beginning at 4 p.m. Mountain this afternoon. You can watch them all at hockeycanada.ca right in that barn. By the way, Saturday night, Jeff Foxworthy, the largest selling comedy recording artist in history, a multiple Grammy Award nominee and best-selling author of 26 books, brings his brand new The Good Old Days Tour to Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary. You can get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.ca. Jeff Foxworthy, I would not want to miss that show. Before we talk about today's games here at the Centennial Cup, doubleheader at 4 p.m., Longueuil versus Summerside in the night game, Flin Flon versus Pickering in the afternoon game. Joe Watson here, two-time Stanley Cup champion with the Philadelphia Flyers, does have an opinion, believe it or not, on the goal last night called back of Blake Coleman of the Calgary Flames. What do you think?
Well, I think there certainly wasn't a distinct kicking motion. His skate was going in the direction where the puck was, and the puck was going to go in anyway, and I think they should have taken that into consideration. Whether he touched it or not, sure he did touch it, but the puck was going in anyway, and I disagree with the call. I really do. I think Calgary should have got the goal. Whether they would have won the game or not, they had 6 or 7 minutes to play still, but, I think I don't think it was a good call.
An unfortunate thing to happen in a series-clinching game. But it's interesting that you said that officiating cost you against the Islanders in 1980, so maybe nothing's changed.
Oh, boy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're right. It did cost us the Islanders. I mean, Dennis Potvin picked the puck out of the air. It was above his head, for Christ's sake, and they allowed the goal. And then one of the Sutter scored a goal. Dwayne Sutter, maybe. Somebody scored a goal and he was 2.5 feet offside. Bobby Neisner got the winning goal in overtime. That was a legitimate one, but we should have never went to overtime. It shouldn't have been overtime, and so it was. And
is video replay a good thing or a bad thing that we have it now compared to then when we didn't have it? Is it good to have it now the way we have it?
I think it is. Yes. There's there's some discrepancies in calls, and the video replay will come out and. It gives a true call, and you make the true call and everything else. But I think last night that wasn't a good call.
No, I agree, and that's our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center: should the Coleman goal have counted for the Calgary Flames? And last I saw, over 60% saying yes, it should have counted. Todd Pinckney is watching, one of our P1 Priority 1 viewers. He says it's Joe Watson, Zach Hill's best friend in
right.
Philly. The PR guy for the Flyers.
Yeah, Zach. Oh, yes. Zach's been with the Flyers 30 years. He came from the Sixers. Him and Charles Barkley are good buddies. And but Zach is very able and does a great job with the PR. He's been named the number 1 PR guy in the National League, I think, about 4 or 5 times. And the job he does for the Flyers is incredible.
He must be great.
He really, really is. And I just talked to him this morning, and I told him I was going to do this. He said, "Oh, that's great." So I don't know if he gets it there,
We are on cable television in Philadelphia. I'm not sure the cable carrier. I think it is TDS Cable. But we do get regular mail from viewers in Philadelphia, so I'm sure they're happy to see you on the air here. Joe Watson, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about your time with the Colorado Rockies, because I never did last night. 78-79?
Yeah.
Cherry wasn't there yet, was he?
No. Kelly. Oh, gosh. His last name was
You got
Kelly.
me then. That's a long time.
Yeah, right. And Ray Mirren was the general manager. And when I went to Colorado, and the Flyers, after the regular season, you have a coach. You have a meeting with the coach and general manager, and they go over what they want to do and everything else. And they called me in and said, "Joe, we want to start developing young defensemen, but we want you to stay and help us." I said, "Okay." And what does that mean? I said, "Well," they said, "well, you might play 40, 45 games a year." And I said, "I'm only 36. I want to play a full year." And well, if you want to do that, we're going to have to trade you. I said, "Okay, fine." So they asked me where I'd like to go, and I said, "Well, Colorado. I have a lot of friends out in Colorado and everything else. I thought that would be an ideal spot." I go out there, I play 16 games, break my leg all to hell, and I break it in 13 areas, end of my hockey career, and was in the hospital off and on for a year and a half, and but it was not a fun way to end my career, but it was, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, so you're not surprised then to see the success that the Avalanche have had since in that market. Like, they love the Avalanche in Colorado. They're a great team.
They ever have. I mean, they have an exciting player. The two most exciting players in the league are two centermen. It's going to be, if they play against one another, that's going to be a series to watch. It really
Pat Kelly.
Pat Kelly, you're right. Pat Kelly was the coach.
Yeah.
Nice man, great guy and everything else. And the team, we didn't have enough talent. We had a guy named Barry Beck was there, and Barry was a big, kind of a intimidating guy because he's big and strong and everything else. But we just didn't have enough horses to do well in that year. And of course, I was named the captain of the team. I was there 16 games and had my injury, and that was it. And then Mr. Snyder approached me, and I want you to come back to the organization. So I had a disruption there for about 6 weeks.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Made you appreciate Philly more.
Yeah.
Going to Colorado.
Yeah.
By the way, I said to Joe as I was looking him up yesterday that he was from, and this is the last thing I'll leave you with here, and the viewers, that he was from Smithers, BC.
Yeah.
And I said, I know one other guy from Smithers, BC. He played for the Pats. His name's Ron Flockhart, Flocky Hockey.
Yeah.
And you said...
Yeah, well, Flocky was the altar boy when I got married. He was 10 years old, and he wanted to meet Bobby Orr in the worst way. Bobby came up. He was my best man, and so Flocky got his wish, and he was very excited. And when I do see him, we still talk about it. Great, that's 40-some years later, we still talk
Is Flocky in Philly still, or where is he?
Well, he lives in Salmon Arm, I think it is now, British Columbia, and I think he goes down to California, I think, in the wintertime. Yeah. And,
great Regina, Pat. Great NHLer, Ron Flockhart. And, you mentioned Bobby Orr. How did he come to be your best man at your wedding?
Well, I needed somebody.
How about that?
No, I'm just kidding. We played together in Boston, and we lived together, and in '66, and he was a chef, and I washed the dishes and vacuumed the house.
Perfect.
And, we were good friends and everything else. And we had a 5-bedroom home, and so we had a lot of fun in the 5-bedroom home. A lot of action.
I bet. Hey, and lastly, you're here for the National Canadian Junior A Hockey Championship. Like I said last night on the mic, you were there. There is nowhere else I'd rather be than right here. What are you going to be thinking watching these young men chase the national championship?
Yeah,
this
I'm going to be thinking the time that we went to the finals, and we played the Edmonton Oil Kings in the finals to represent Western Canada in the Memorial Cup. We got beaten 7 games by them, and then they went on to win the darn thing. So I'm going to be thinking, I know they don't represent the Memorial Cup. This league doesn't know.
Nope.
But just to win, the fact that you have an opportunity to win and be the best team in your league or whatever it is, it's very, very gratifying for these guys, whoever wins it, because they put a lot of hard work. The coaches have, the training staff has, and the players put and there's a lot of good players here. I've only watched 2 games, and boy, there's a lot of skill in these young kids. There's so much more skilled players than they were when we played.
It's been amazing.
Yeah. There's one young guy there from Alberta. His name McAllister. Number 9.
Number 9.
Oh, what a skilled player.
Can't take your eyes off him.
What a skilled player. I don't know how old he is, or if he's going someplace, or he must be.
I think he's 19, but I think.
God, he's got skill. He should be playing college hockey. He's
Probably will be. HockeyCanada.ca to watch all the games. Joe, it's been an absolute honor to get to know you, and I can't wait to watch hockey with you tonight.
Yeah, good man. Thank you very much. A pleasure to be here. I love Estevan. We've had a great time, Rod. Thanks very much for thinking of me and having me on your show.
Flyers great, Joe Watson. We got Taco Time, viewer takeover next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network. We're streaming live on YouTube, and if you've missed any of the program, you can always watch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
The Rod Pedersen Show, live from the 2022 Centennial Cup, proudly presented by the City of Estevan, Saskatchewan, and by award-winning Wanda Heron Photography.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games.
Play among legends at betregal.net.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
It is taco time, viewer takeover. Welcome inside Affinity Place. As you can tell if you've been watching the program, we are situated right on the concourse here in the finest junior A hockey facility in the land. Taco time, viewer takeover. Did you know Taco Time has been around for over 40 years in Canada? This iconic brand and a Canadian favorite serves 3.2 million burritos, 2.5 million tacos, and over 1 million Mexi fries every year. There's a Taco Time here in Estevan, too. By the way, it's on Kensington Avenue. I'm pretty sure with over 120 locations, there's always one near you. We will, if you want, jump into football the rest of the way, but on the text line here, a couple things. One, Clark, please open the text line in the break. There's a message for you here from one of our viewers. For producer Clark. Alex Fulton checking in from Toronto, Ontario. He is in the Game Plus control room, opping the show there. He says, morning, Roddy. Was it a goal or was it not a goal? The big question today, I think it was. Yeah, buddy. And that's the poll results. The last I looked, it was 60+%. 61% say yes, it was a goal. Clark, what's the YouTube vote at? Do you have a sample size? Oh, 54%. It's dropping. 54% say yes, it was a goal. We all here think it was a goal, and I was cheering for both teams. But I guess for Calgary, not that the team's looking for excuses, but for the fans, they got something to allow them to sleep at night for the next several years ahead. This is an epic letdown for the Calgary Flames, who, as we said, their fans expected them to win a Stanley Cup. I heard it in Calgary. I couldn't believe it. People saying, we don't have a captain. Who is Gary Bettman going to hand the Stanley Cup to? This was in February. So it's good to have high hopes, but holy smokes, the letdown is steep. Sean in Vancouver, BC, watching on Game Plus, says, overall, Edmonton gave Calgary a distinct kicking motion to the golf course. Come on, Sean. As Chris Jones would say, win with class. Devin watching in Burns Lake, BC. Can we all remember this? Can you help me out with this? With the correct pronunciation of his name. He said, for future considerations, it's pronounced Pakailo. Pakailo. Can you remember that, Tank? Pakailo. He says, good morning, Rod. Are you ready for some football? Show me your picks, Bombers and Red Blacks, for the wins tonight. We're really talking about preseason football results? I don't even care about the wins. Devin, you're a smart guy. You know better than that. We'll have the game on in the luxury suite here at Affinity Place. But as far as betting on the winner of a CFL preseason game, sucker.
What is up?
Devin says that waived goal is just as bitter as the Jelena 2004 goal. He says it's a buffet of sports today. Last minute of play in the hour one. Last minute of play. And Devin says, have a great weekend. Go Kings, go. He is a fan of the Dauphin Kings, who are into a semifinal berth, right? Tank, are you following? Yeah. They got the day off here, the quarterfinals. Buffet of sports. I got NHL tonight, one game. Blues, Avs. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays at the Angels. Jays won last night 6-3 to open the series. NBA tonight. Miami looking to stay alive as they visit Boston, trailing the Celtics 3-2. WHL Conference Finals tonight. Edmonton at Winnipeg, the Oil Kings looking to close it out. That'll be one you're going to want to watch. Seattle in Kamloops tonight in the Western Final. That series is tied 2-2. It is indeed a sports buffet and a wonderful time to be alive. Next hour, John Hodge will join us from 3 down to break down the CFL CBA and kicking off football tonight. Stick around. We'll be right back after this break on Game Plus TV.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time.
kitchen is a restaurant-ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Ryan McCarthy, watching in upstate New York, says, why does Saskatchewan have the best town names? Paradise Hill, Moose Jaw. Well, he says Flin Flon, and that's actually Manitoba. And frankly, I'm partial to Medicine Hat.
How about that?
I also learn something every day. We learned today that Flin Flon, Manitoba stands for Flint Tibeti Floniton, a fictional character from a 1905 novel.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
1 week of shows has boiled down to one final hour. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show, everybody. We are coming to you, as you can see, from a hockey arena, specifically Affinity Place in beautiful Estevan, Saskatchewan, and the Centennial Cup presented by Tim Hortons. It's been a rollicking good time, as it always is, but this Flame Tech Football Friday was hijacked somewhat in Hour 1, and I don't apologize for it. Joe Watson, two-time Stanley Cup champion of the Philadelphia Flyers and former Estevan Bruin, was with us for a good chunk of Hour 1. Rejoining us here in Hour 2 is the Moose, Darren Moose Dupont. And the CFL is kicking off the preseason tonight. The CFL CBA has been agreed to by the players, and away we go. It's like, did it even happen? You know what I mean? Did it even happen at all? What was missed? Other than a Rough Riders game on Monday here against Winnipeg. But I'm good with talking football for the rest of the hour. Craig Campbell, watching from the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, says, great show, perfect time for sports. World Hockey Championship, Stanley Cup playoffs, and football. I mentioned NBA, MLB. I didn't even mention NLL. There's a game 3 of the best of 3 going in the West Conference Final in the NLL. I didn't even write that down. And Darren, I did not finish my Quick Six show topics either. And John Hodge isn't going to be with us until later on. So if you have questions for John Hodge, ask him when he gets here. He won't be here until 40 minutes past the hour. Would you mind, Moose, if I just...
Yeah, go.
Okay. To recap, because we're going to go mostly football in Hour 2, the CFL Players Association ratified its new CBA. The ratification came 2 days after CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie unveiled the league's final offer to its players. The deal must also be ratified by the Board of Governors, but that's not expected to be an issue. With the players accepting the agreement, that paves the way for football to kick off on time, including 2 preseason games tonight. Toronto Argonauts at Ottawa Red Blacks, Edmonton Elks at Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Vladimir Guerrero homered off Shohei Ohtani for the first time ever, and George Springer had a leadoff home run in the Blue Jays' 6-3 victory at the LA Angels last night. Ohtani struck out 10 while yielding 5 runs over 6 innings in his 8th mound start of the season. He fell behind 5-2 in the sixth on a drive off the left field pole by Vladdy, who finished right below the Angels' two-way star in last year's American League MVP voting. And I want to mention this. The CEBL is now making the national news. This came across the news wire. Darren, the expansion Canadian Elite Basketball League team, the Scarborough Shooting Stars, owned in part by rapper Drake, and Grammy Award-winning rapper J. Cole, left as losers Thursday night in their debut, falling to the Nighthawks in Guelph 89-80 in their season opener. The 37-year-old rapper J. Cole played in the game. As you know, we talked about this yesterday. He finished with 3 points on 1 of 4 shooting, all from distance, with 1 rebound and 1 assist in just under 15 minutes of action coming off the bench. So the CEBL is creeping into the national sports conscience. Those were my quick 6 show topics. Do we have Moose back? Did we lose you for a while?
No.
You're here now? What's up?
Sorry. The volume was on the computer. So have you heard an echo? I don't know if you heard that.
I certainly didn't.
Okay.
And then, woosa. Trying to just calm it all down. We got a hockey team practicing behind us. They've been referred to as the Harlem Globetrotters, the Brooks Bandits. They're quite frankly pretty much head and shoulders above every other team here in this tournament.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, I'm sure they'll be turning the music on. So, yeah, they haven't yet, but I like it. It's cool. It's just strange. I'm still getting my mind around a hockey team playing dance music during their practices. And that's why I put both earpieces in today. I like their vibe.
Yeah.
I hope for their sake they finish it off. But as we've been here for a week, I'm really enjoying all the teams. There's something to like about all of them.
There is. Yeah, they all have a little something to offer in terms of likability. So, yeah, it'll be fun today when we get into the semifinals. I'm really looking forward to the 2 games today.
Okay, so Darren in Salt Lake City says, so the CFLPA accepted the deal. Football will go on as scheduled. Was hoping to see if TSN would pull an 80s NBC trick and broadcast USFL games like the NBC did with the CFL games in the 80s. He's talking about, had there been a strike, would they air replacement games? And that's what happened in the 80s. In the NFL, there was a strike, so they aired CFL games down in the States, and I don't believe people watched it. Like a couple things. I mentioned Chris Jones goes into Winnipeg tonight with the Edmonton Elks. The game's not on television, but I'm sure you can watch it streaming somewhere. I hope that you can.
Yeah.
It's 2022, for the love of Pete. But I think the last time Chris Jones was on the sidelines with Edmonton in Winnipeg was the 2015 Grey Cup when they won it. And I'm just sitting there going, did the last 7 years even happen? And when don't you say you can't go back? You do say that. The world says that.
The world says it. I mean, you can always go back. You know, the line, time heals all wounds, and you say time plus people heal the wounds, right? You still need both people to come to the table. And people change, come and go in the organization. It's not the same organization that Chris Jones left. You know, Victor Quee's now running the show, and, you know, him and Chris Jones seem to be getting along, and so the door is open, and maybe you can reignite that. Now, can he reignite it with the fans? They seem to have accepted him, as far as I can tell.
Oh, yeah. I say this somewhat facetiously that you can't go home, because Jones did go home to to Edmonton as the general manager and head coach. So it's not like he's going backwards in life. He's actually going forwards in life. And it's unfortunate that game isn't on television tonight. I guess as a Western guy, I would rather see Edmonton-Winnipeg than Toronto-Ottawa. Maybe it was easier for TSN to do that game. I don't know. But, you know, that's what's exciting about the preseason. And again, the longer I get out of the CFL or the longer that I get out of the WHL, you kind of sit back and see it like the rest of everybody else and realize you don't really care because the games don't really count. You weren't listening last hour. A viewer in Burns Lake, BC, Devin, wanted a wager on the games tonight. I'm like, if you're betting on CFL preseason games, you are a sucker. Now go ahead for Bet Regal, but I'm not. I'm sure there's odds on the games tonight, but I'm not a sucker.
Go ahead and bet, but have the expectation that you're just throwing
burning
roulette.
it.
It's a roulette wheel, right? Or a slot machine. It's just a game of chance. You're not actually. There's no intel or insight into who's going to win these games. Never is.
Yes. They're telling me to turn the mic down. I turned it up for Joe.
Right.
And I'm turning it down now. I don't really care about the CBA. Like, they got it done, and let's go play ball. You don't care either. Like, I don't care. I'm sorry. Nelson, whom I love, you know that. Nelson Hackowich, our VP of Sim Events. We wouldn't have had the Sim League without him. Yeah. He says, what is strange is this deal is not much different than the one that got voted down. I'm over it, man. I mean, they're going to be kicking around this ratio thing for years and years and years and years. And I know why am I getting sucked in this rabbit hole? Thanks, Nelson. I want the best football. I don't believe Canadians tune in to watch the best Canadians. And I saw this silly argument on Twitter the other day that the CFL has the best Canadian players. No, it doesn't. The NFL does. We can name them. Stop it. And the NCAA. It's an argument that I feel people like to sit around and bitch about for hours that I just don't want to be part of that argument anymore. I want to watch football, go play, and put the best guys on the field.
Here's where we're at.
You don't agree?
No. Here's where we're at, too, in this whole CBA talk is we've just arrived in Mexico or Hawaii, right? And we went through a hell of a flight, right? Severe, we'll call it severe turbulence.
And we all want to go to
there's a faction of people that are going to sit there and be like, margaritas, beach, let's go, I'm happy. And they're not even thinking about that anymore. And that's most of the people. So most people won't even remember this CBA.
No.
You don't remember the flight. But there are a few people who will be like, how about that flight, eh? And that's all they want to talk about. Spilled my drink. There'll be a small percentage. But most of us will just forget that this fight even happened and just enjoy. Now, hopefully the product's good and the weather's nice and everything's great on this season. But I think that's where we're at now.
You're saying look ahead, not behind.
And most people, I think, will.
They want to look behind and wallow in what was and not look ahead. And that's the thing. To sit and talk about the minutia of a collective bargaining agreement, I used to care about that. Maybe I'm the one that changed. They haven't changed. I changed. But it's my show. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, James Zylstra, he's in Manitoba. He says, just start this season already. CFL. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, for the Toronto Sports Network, it's always easier to do Toronto games, whether it's hockey or football. I don't even... there was a guy up here from Minnesota for the hockey. He played for the Bruins. Paul's his name. He's probably watching right now. Great guy. And he's like, we're sitting in a luxury suite right over there. And he goes, how is every one of these games not on television in Canada? And like, I hope you don't expect that I would have the answer for that because I have no idea. And he's like, well, the Minnesota State Hockey Championship, every game's on. St. Paul, Minnesota, XL Energy Center, 15,000 a game. Every game's on. I don't speak for TSN or Sportsnet. TSN's got 5 channels. Sportsnet's got at least as many. How is every game not on? How is TSN not broadcasting preseason games in the CFL?
I know. Don't look at me at the answer.
Yeah,
because I would put them on too. But, it is like you got to think about where this is, where we are in the world now. I mean, the Stanley Cup playoffs are on it. I know TSN doesn't have any broadcast rights outside of regional rights, and all their regional markets are not in the playoffs. But we're still, as a country, more interested in the NHL playoffs. So we'd rather have 4 talking heads on for a half an hour or an hour talking hockey than putting on a CFL game, where that's what they think in terms of revenue and in terms of actual people tuning in, or whether it's soccer or whatever else they put on. But, yeah, I really wish that we would have more of this grassroots sports, which tells me there might be more of an opportunity out there.
Well, it's getting better. I mean, TSN's now doing the NLL games. They got the junior hockey contract for the CHL. That's right. I believe that we are going the other way. But I don't know who's in charge of those decisions or what's leading to them. But I think that we are going the right way. By the way, it is hour 2 of a Flame Tech Football Friday. Flame Tech is your industry leader in combustion services. We have been talking hockey all week. We talked hockey in hour 1. So I'm here for the football discussion for the rest of the next 40 minutes. And John Hodge is going to be joining us from 3downnation.com. So whatever you want to talk about, any league, let us know. Because we kicked around, pardon the pun, the kicking motion last night in the Flames-Waters game last hour. And I think we put it to bed as much as we can. Most people agree. Our pollsters agree. If you put it to a vote that the goal should have counted for Blake Coleman and the Calgary Flames should have forced a Game 6. but I think we've discussed that enough. But let's, again, you tell me what you would like to talk about. If we're going to switch around to hockey, we can do that as well. But I don't know, sports broadcasting and television, I wonder how many people care about that other than us. You know, Donald Mitchell, our Navy friend, writes that he says the CEBL is being shown on the CBC Gem streaming app. For the life of me, I cannot see why CFL games can't be simulcast on that service after the broadcast contract ends. Well, it doesn't end for another 5 more years. If we can't find a way, and I shouldn't complain, like the Edmonton-Winnipeg game today, you tell me, people, because I have no idea. Can it be streamed? Can it be watched? In 2022, if it's not, I'm going to wonder what planet we're on.
I know.
I don't know. Does anybody know? Can we watch it streaming? Is it on tsn.ca? You do the Rush games on the app.
That's right, and that's the deal through the Rush games.
Check the big board here.
Now throwing the business hat on, it's going to cost you about $50,000 to do a game, maybe a little bit more, to put on one of those CFL broadcasts, whether it's on TV or streaming. So it doesn't matter where it's delivered, right? And you need to get, 350, 400,000 people to make that worthwhile. And you'll get that maybe on TV, but can you get that on streaming? Is there that many people on streaming? At 100,000 people watching, it's not enough audience to make it worthwhile for them, so they don't do the game.
Is that a CFL problem or fault, or a Canadian people society problem or fault? Or like what you're saying is if they don't show the Edmonton-Winnipeg game tonight, it's because there's not enough appetite for it.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, for the money they're going to put in, they don't think they'll drive enough traffic to streaming for the one-off to make it worthwhile.
Here's what's on TSN right now. Roland Garros tennis. You're aware of what that is?
It's the French Open. It's a major. It's a big deal.
I had no idea.
I know, but you're not a 10. I give you a pass on that. But that is a big deal, and this is my chance to squeeze it in. Canada's doing pretty good. Layla,
but that says that we're not all into the same things.
Layla moved on, and Felix moved on.
On TSN2, First Take. It's a good show. Coming up, AFL Premiership Football. Sydney Swans versus the Richmond Tigers. I'll pass. TSN3, tennis again. TSN4, PBR bull riding from Arlington, Texas. I'm here for that. But you're not, right? That's not your thing.
Right.
Tennis again on TSN5.
This is my kind of day.
And tennis, more tennis. Formula One. The Monaco Grand Prix. They're going to we're talking about practice. They're broadcasting the practice.
They do.
You don't want to show these games? Hockey Canada. No, I should shut up.
No.
What?
A new segment has been born.
What?
TV Guide.
Reading it to people.
Fridays at 1 Eastern. The TV Guide.
We will get to there's some good questions and comments coming in here. So, I just wanted to have fun today, and we're doing it on Game Plus TV live from the Tim Hortons presented Centennial Cup in Estevan, Saskatchewan. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
The Rod Pedersen Show, live from Estevan, is presented in part by the award-winning Wanda Heron Photography.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
This is a bedtime story and a rise and shine. A fishing story and an epic night.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
The Rod Pedersen Show, brought to you by Powered Dodge Estevan.
There you go. Game day in the Energy City. Quarterfinal Friday here at the Centennial Cup. RP Show brought to you in part by Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. They specialize in improving your company's performance and bottom line through supply chain management services. And also Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. Let me do a sports update before we jump back into what you would like to talk about on a viewer takeover. There's just one game in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. The Colorado Avalanche can eliminate the Blues with a win in St. Louis. The Avs lead the series 3-2. The Oilers advanced last night with a Game 5 contested win at Calgary. Blue Jays ace Alek Manoah will square off against LA Angels starter Chase Silthus as Toronto plays the second game of a 4-game series in Anaheim tonight. Vladdy and George Springer each homered in Toronto's 6-3 win on Thursday. And Josh Donaldson has apologized to the wife and family of Jackie Robinson for referencing the pioneering black baseball player in remarks that led to a confrontation with Chicago White Sox star Tim Anderson. The Yankees' third baseman was suspended for one game and fined on Monday by Major League Baseball, who called his comment disrespectful and in poor judgment. Donaldson says after Saturday's game he twice called Anderson Jackie. Anderson, who's among the leading black voices in baseball, says Donaldson was trying to provoke him. This sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for WHL breaking news and analysis. Visit today, dubnetwork.ca. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, now with 8 amazing flavors, including the new almond mocha, RP Show viewers get 20% off with the promo code RP Show. Order yours now at g2gbars.ca. Moose Dupont's with us here at the Affinity Place in Estevan. Quarterfinal Friday here, coming up at 4 p.m. Mountain, 6 Eastern. Games that you can watch at hockeycanada.ca are Flin Flon versus Pickering, Ontario. Longueuil, Quebec versus Summerside, PEI. It's going to be a fantastic day of hockey. Can't wait. And hot tub this afternoon, Moose. What do you say? Did you bring your trunks?
I did. So No, I'm absolutely excited about that for sure.
Everything's looking up great. 40 minutes left, and then weekend.
Yes.
Joe Watson was here, the 78-year-old, soon to be 79. He went to work out. I felt this big. I'm like, Joe, well, when you're done working out, come join us in the hot tub.
Yeah. We're going straight to the hot tub, skipping the workout.
We're skipping the workout today. It's the executive workout, Joe. It begins and ends with a hot tub.
Yes.
What a great guy.
We've earned it. We've had a whole week.
Oh, we've been working real hard here all week. Phyllis writes in. She says, I noticed that the Winnipeg game isn't on TSN. Is it possible they put it in one of the Sports Center segments? What do you mean, the whole game? Randy in Winnipeg says, yeah, I don't understand TSN and Sportsnet having 5 channels but show the same thing on all 5 channels. I do have a theory on that. Just before TSN announced their 5 channels and launched them, just before they did, they lost the contract to Sportsnet. The NHL contract, the national contract. I think that they had plans to fill all 5 of those channels with NHL programming, and then they got their pants ripped down and lost the rights. Yeah. That's what I think happened.
Yeah,
because you don't just wave a wand and get 5 channels. I think they'd been working to get there, and then they lost the contract, and then we got all these channels now. What the hell are we going to do with them? Oh, we'll play poker every day on it.
Got to fill the programming, right? And I think that's, outside of TSN 1 and 2, they're all designed to be regional channels. It's easier to understand that Sportsnet has regional channels because we call them East, West, Ontario, Quebec, right? You might as well call TSN 3 Prairies and TSN 4 TSN Ottawa and TSN 5 TSN Toronto, and you know what I mean? Because those, anyways, it's a long conversation. We could talk for an hour about it.
I can't. That's what I love about the interactive nature of this show. At least I know that we are talking about what the viewers want to talk about. For instance, Jeff Caldwell is watching in Oregon. He says, I can't find the CFL preseason game tonight in the U.S. I see ESPN Plus has it scheduled for next week. So what? Maybe they're airing a replay? I don't know. I'm currently in Canada, but I'll be back in Florida this weekend, and I'll be watching the Ryder-Bomber game, I believe, on ESPN Plus. So all is good. Andrew Stute in the chat says, I checked my guide this morning, and the CFL preseason game is on TSN 5 tonight. Unless it changed. Looks like it is listed as being televised. Yeah, everybody's saying it's on television. Jennifer checking in from the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the NHL. She says, good morning, everyone. Surprised yet happy and relieved the Oil took the series in 5. Yeah, we talked hockey in hour 1. So I guess we can talk about what everybody else wants to talk about. I'm trying to keep it to football. And Tacona Powley's happy that his Bet Regal hoodie has showed up in the mail, his bunny hug. So, yeah, some are getting their bunny hugs, some are not. We've been doing the Bet Regal contest, the featured game, and Bet Regal was sending out the gear to the winners, not us. But it's been delayed getting it to them, and you also said, we're out. We're stopping the contest until Bet Regal can get the gear out, and now it's landing in the hands of our viewers across the country, so that's great. Selling a few hats here this week, too. Do you want to get a plug-in for the merchandise for the here?
Got to come down to Estevan. And
come on down to Estevan.
You got to find us. We've kind of please don't accost us at the hot tub, okay? Once the show's over. But outside of that, if you find us at the rink, I got you covered.
We continue to be live TV times. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes in. He says the Toronto-Ottawa game is on TV. The Bombers-Elks game is not. And is it too much to ask people to watch the entire 2 hours? We've been covering all this. I said Chris Jones goes back to Winnipeg with Edmonton for the first time since the 2015 Grey Cup. And it'll be interesting to see him on the sidelines. Do we know what's happening with the rosters? People are finally starting to get it. And I'm not the CFL guy anymore. Listen. It was a gong show pulling off this banquet here last night, and it wasn't just me. It was some really great people, like Melissa Dietz from Lemon Wedge Marketing, Jason Tatarnik from the Bruins, Josh Biggs, their president. One of our speakers dropped out last minute, and I don't mean a speaker. I mean a guest speaker dropped out.
Yeah.
So we're scrambling, trying to get a program together. Some of the players showed up, some didn't. It was a gong show. So I don't really follow who's playing for the Edmonton Elks tonight in Winnipeg. Is Duran playing? You know?
Right.
And then emceed the thing last night and had a big old time. Moose was out doing PR until the sun came up, which reminds me, it's not quite, but close. I'm walking down the hallway of the hotel the other day. It was the day that I went on Global National.
Yeah.
4:15 a.m. I go pick up coffee in the lobby that the overnight guy Josh made. He's a real beaut. Yeah, I like him. And as I'm walking down the hallway, a guy says to me, "You're up early?" And I said, "So are you?" He goes, "I haven't been to bed."
How about
4:15.
That's but there's the gray area. 3 to 5 a.m. is the gray area where you're never sure if you're coming or going, right? If you're just starting your day or you haven't ended it yet.
This guy was from Flin Flon. And I suspect, and what's sucky about the Bruins, actually, no, the silver lining, the host Bruins, the logo over Darren's shoulder there, they didn't make the playoffs here in their own tournament. But what that's done is pave the way for the fans of all the other teams to come to town.
Yeah.
There's people coming in just today from Summerside, PEI, Dauphin, Manitoba, a lot from Flin Flon. Like, who's watching Flin Flon? Well, these people are all down here.
Oh,
yeah, who's left?
Gated up the highway from Creighton, and away you go.
David in Winnipeg. David Ice, he won our Tough Tribe for Men contest a while back. David Ice, he has just put the TSN CFL preseason schedule in the chat. But I'm not sure that I'm going to. It looks like both Rough Riders games are on TSN, so that's good. I'll be able to watch them both. Don't even have to go to the games. Booyah. Darren in Salt Lake City says, "Moose, are you guys doing the Wild Hogs skinny dipping hot tub session?" I'll leave that with you.
We brought that show up the other day, I think, on the air. What an underrated movie. It's due for a rewatch, I think.
Very underrated movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what's the most underrated movie of all time? And I think you know the answer to this. Hall Pass.
Oh, yeah.
It came out like a week before The Hangover. Terrible timing.
Yeah. Terrible.
Ken Atamachuk, watching on YouTube, says, "I feel gross that I have to pay for TSN to watch the CFL." Oh, well. That is a personal preference. Game Plus is the one channel that I couldn't live without. The next channel would be TSN. I watch it all the time. I watch SportsCenter 3-4 times a day. And then I watch the afternoon shows, Kornheiser and Wilbon. I watch it all. I don't mind paying. I get my money's worth from TSN. Calvin and Sophia. That sounds like a very cool couple. Calvin and Sophia. That's
like
their
a
YouTube.
sitcom.
Yeah,
What
doesn't
it
it?
sounds like.
Or cartoon.
Yeah.
Is it possible for the CFL to retain another TV deal with another provider before 2027? I feel TSN is hurting the league. Great show as always, Rod. Do you want to dive into this here? I feel like they'd rather talk about the TV deal than the preseason games. And that's fine, by the way. Miami Sports Radio, all they talk about is Tom Brady and if he's going to end up owning the Dolphins and if he's going to end up playing for the Dolphins. They'd rather talk about that than the actual games. We want to talk about the TV contract because when I bring up when I was in the CFL near the end, and I said TSN is hurting the CFL because they're not promoting the league in SportsCenter. They're not airing the shows. They just air the games, and that's it. You just get immediately shot down. Usually by the older guys. I'm not going to name names. But they're like, you stop it. If it wasn't for TSN, there wouldn't be a CFL. So we're not allowed to talk about it then.
I don't discount what TSN's done great stuff for the CFL. The product looks amazing. It's very professional. We know that the league and fans would benefit from having more networks covering it. That's not to slander TSN and the job they've done. They got the best deal for themselves. They own the whole pie. You have to come to their store. It's the only place to get the CFL. But at 2027, if that's when the deal's up, we'll be cooking with gas long before that. We're cooking with gas now. So I hope the CFL, I'll put the offer on the table, hire DuPont Media, and we'll negotiate the TV rights on your behalf and get you a hell of a bang-up deal with those networks and the new ones that aren't even here yet.
Yeah, well, I think we lost you briefly, Moose.
Yeah, I'll refresh that feed.
Okay, John Hodge must have logged in, but Jeff Caldwell in Oregon says Game Plus should broadcast CFL games. Well, as my mom would say, wouldn't that be a trick? Game Plus airs in Oregon. I mean, you would get a international broadcast there if you were on Game Plus if you're the CFL.
Yeah.
Because we are in both countries. TSN, last I checked, is not. Rick Hagland in the chat says Rod's rant on TV Guide. Yahoo! I'm not really ranting on anything, but I don't understand why as many people watch this show as do, because I'm different than everybody else. I'd rather go to a live game. I can't tell you how happy I am to be in Estevan at the Junior A Championship. Rod's rant, by the way, for Bronco Plumbing and Heating and Cooling Daily. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. Moose, before you go, and John Hodge comes in from 3 down, just one last thing.
Yeah.
I've been to so many Centennial Cups, Grey Cups, Stanley Cups, Super Bowl now. Been everywhere. Briars. Up until 15 years ago, this would have been crawling with CTV, Global, Leader Post, all the radio stations. We're the only media here from out of town. The only ones.
Haven't seen one.
The only ones, okay? And the cool thing is I've got people writing in saying, you've brought a national attention to the Centennial Cup. That's why they brought us. But this business has just gone down the crapper, man. And nobody saw it coming.
Unrecognizable.
So we'll take it all.
And I mean,
it's great.
I'll never sit and wallow in and be like,
you weren't around then.
The
You're
good
not an
old
old fart
days,
like me.
blah, blah, blah. It's great. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is.
We'll take
the
it.
way it's going, and yeah, we're going to take the opportunity.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. For those that want to get inside the 3 down, the CBA with the CFL, John Hodge is the guy. He's had all the details. He's broken the news. He joins us next. You're watching the RP Show live from the Centennial Cup, presented by Tim Hortons on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Rod Pedersen, back in Canada. He must be lost. On location, brought to you by the City of Estevan. Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Every kitchen is a restaurant-ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Promotional consideration for the RP Show brought to you in part by Tough Tribe for Men. It contains aloe vera, botanicals, and antioxidants, traditionally known for their scalp and hair benefits. We are part of the clean beauty industry. Welcome to Clean Beauty for Men, available today at toughtribeformen.com. That's the number 4, toughtribeformen.com, and Amazon Canada. John Hodge has been gracious enough to join us from 3 Down. I appreciate it, John, if we can bring him in from Winnipeg. The fans, the viewers have been asking to get John on. And let's talk about the CBA. You've been at the forefront of all the news. You've been breaking the news. Here's my question for you first. Who won? Did anybody win in this, do you think, when all's said and done?
I think at the end of the day, the fans won. We're getting football this weekend, Rod. The fans won. To delve a little bit more into it, at the end of the day, I think the players have come away with a lot of concessions that they've lacked in the past, right? They've got health coverage. They've got guaranteed veteran contracts coming in, or at least the option for partially guaranteed veteran contracts. And of course, they've got the opportunity to get revenue sharing and actually audit some of the CFL's financial statements as of 2024 by a third party. So if I had to pick a winner between the two, I'd say the players came away with more than I expected, but the fans are the biggest winners this weekend.
No doubt, and but I think that the players did come away with more. But tell me if I have not gone into the minutiae of this deal. So some have written in and said this isn't a lot different from the last one, or at the very least, this isn't much different than the one last week they rejected. How big are the differences in this, what they agreed to last night?
Well, the two deals, the tentative agreement from last week that was voted down and the new deal that was ratified late last night are not very different. The biggest difference between the two is the ratification bonus, right? There was no ratification bonus as part of the first deal. And from what I understand, a ratification bonus was not high on the bargaining committee's list of things to negotiate for and advocate for as part of this new deal. And I think ultimately that came down to the fact that a lot of the players, a lot of the membership took a ratification bonus for granted. They thought this money was coming as a default. End of agreement was struck last week. There was no ratification bonus. 30% of the players reportedly did not even vote. And so once they took some money from later on in the deal, right, they've shaved the salary cap down a little bit 5-6 years from now to provide an initial bonus of $1.225 million across the 9 teams, about 400 veteran players. That's about $3,000 a pop. I don't know about you, Rod, but if all I have to do is pull out my phone and take 30 seconds and cast an electronic ballot, $3,000 is a pretty good payday for that 30 seconds of my time. So to me, that's the biggest difference, is the players who are currently voting, many of whom realize, especially if they're already veterans of 5-6 years in this league, they know 5-6 years from now, they're not going to be around to still benefit from a higher salary cap number. They wanted some money in their pockets right now, and it's hard to blame them, frankly, after a shortened 2021 season during which CFL teams did not spend to the salary cap, but instead spent to the salary floor.
I couldn't agree more with you. And the thing is, why would the owners not think they should realize the players wouldn't care what's going to happen 7 years from now? And I kind of got a kick out of this, John. The owners said, we're going to buy your vote. I mean, the politicians don't come out and admit it, but they're trying to do the same thing. The owners were at least honest about it. Nelson Hackowicz writes in regarding the ratio. I know this is a contentious issue, and it's confusing to a simpleton like me, John. Nelson says, is lowering the ratio simply paving the way to allow for CFL expansion without causing performance drop-off? Like, ratio, a very contentious issue in this, correct?
It absolutely was. And a lot of the Canadian players who voted against the original deal voted out of concern for the ratio going down. Now, we're still going to get the same number of Canadian starters. We're still going to get the same number of Canadians on the roster. And it should be noted as well, the ratio changes implemented in this new CBA do not come into effect for this season. We are talking about 2023 and beyond. Under the original agreement, they were going to allow up to 3 American veterans, known as either naturalized or nationalized American players, meaning 3 seasons on the same CFL team or 5 in the league total. They were going to be permitted to come in and rotate with Canadian players up to 49% of snaps in a game. And I think that Canadians simply can't compete, or maybe the initial starting 7 can compete, but in the case of injuries, right, in the case of early retirements possibly, and those other mitigating factors, maybe they have too many backups playing in spots when they're not necessarily ready. Now, for me, I always point to the developmental aspect of the ratio. I tweeted today, right? Andrew Harris started off his career coming out of the CJHL. Javon Catoy, same thing, receiver in BC, who I think is going to have a big year. He was a CJFL player. You've got Brad Sinopoli, who changed positions at the CFL level. You've got undrafted players like Lewis Ward, Jerome Messam, who have done great things, and who wouldn't have made it out of their first training camps if there was no ratio to protect them. Now, if expansion is down the road, I know that has been something that's been talked about. If expansion were to come in, would we look at lowering the ratio, even temporarily? I know when Ottawa came into the league in 2014, there was a sense that maybe there wasn't enough Canadian talent to go around. But my counter argument would be, I think this is somewhat of a self-fulfilling prophecy. For instance, let's say, heaven forbid, in one of tonight's preseason games, a Canadian star goes down. The Canadian backup might not be ready to start week 1, but by the end of the year, with all those reps, they're going to be in a position to be a full-time starter in 2023. It's that development piece that you're missing if we're just going to have Americans come in to take up those Canadian backup spots. And then 5-6 years from now, I think the fear is, well, if we've developed fewer Canadians, then people are just going to make the same argument. Oh, look around. There's not enough Canadians in backup roles. We got to push the ratio down. Because let's remember, Rod, there used to be 10 Canadian starters in the CFL. They went to 7 many years ago, and I think there is fear that it could go down further. Personally, I'm a strong advocate for the ratio, but I appreciate that there isn't everybody's cup of tea.
I appreciate the explanation on that, and I marvel at your connections within the league, and your insider column at 3 Down is the best thing on the internet as far as I'm concerned. So from what you've gleaned through all of this, John, is the CFL, as we get set to kick off tonight, the first game in the preseason, in good shape, fair shape, not great shape? Because I'm hearing all kinds of things, but I trust your sources more. How do you feel about the state of the CFL post-COVID here, and I hope COVID behind us?
Well, in terms of gameplay, the league has obviously made changes, right? They've moved in the hash marks. They've done other things to try to create more offense. And I do think that we are going to get more offense this season, partly due to the rules, and then also partly due to the fact that players aren't coming off a lost season, right? Expecting players after almost 2 calendar years away from the game to light things up in 2021, I think was too much to ask. 2022, I think we're going to see a better product on the field. Now, even more importantly, off the field, I heard a lot of talk over the last 2 years about how the CFL was dying. The CFL needed to go to 4 downs. The CFL needed to merge with a twice failed American league known as the XFL. The CFL needed to change everything. Young people don't care. And look, I don't think the CFL is in a position to scream from the hills that they've won or they have been, at the end of the day, they've reached the peak, because they haven't. There are ways in which the CFL needs to improve from a business standpoint. But the fact that they have revenue sharing across 9 teams, the fact that we now have included players, or at least as of 2024, we'll have included players taking advantage of league revenue, Grey Cup revenue, having the ability to audit CFL books, which have long been a secret in this country, right? To my knowledge, teams have never once opened up the books to players. And if they did, it was before I was even born. So to me, those things are extremely positive. I think the CFL has finally set a solid foundation. They did not get here quickly. They did not get here efficiently. These are changes they should have seen 10 years ago that needed to be made to build long-term success. So as much as it's unfortunate that they wasted time pursuing some things that never came to fruition, or things like, for instance, the global initiative that did come to fruition but have yet to bear any fruit, I think they finally have the proper foundation needed. Because let's remember, if the owners were actually in a position where they were getting ready to fold these franchises and walk away, they never in a million years would have given the players some of the concessions that they just did. And they gave those players concessions on a CBA that is minimum 5 years, could be 7 years. But the opt-out does not belong to the league. It belongs to the players. So the players can opt out in 5 years. The reason being, that's when the television broadcasting deal expires and the players could potentially see more money if and when the league is able to get a better deal come 2026. So it's unfortunate it's taken this long, but yes, I am optimistic about the future of the CFL, more optimistic than I've been in years.
We only have a minute, but Bombers home to the Edmonton Elks tonight. What will you be looking for in the game?
I'm looking for quarterbacks, and for 2 reasons. One, nobody seems to know who's going to start for the Edmonton Elks this season. It could be Taylor Cornelius. It could be Nick Arbuckle. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be Trey Ford. It had been 42 years since we saw a Canadian quarterback get drafted in the first round. He got picked in the first round. Chris Jones raved about him before the draft, and he raves about him all the time now. So I'm interested to see that. On the other side, the Bombers announced this morning Zach Collaros is not going to dress tonight. That means Drew Brown should get a lot of reps, second-year quarterback, as should Dakota Prukop. Dakota's been around with a bunch of CFL teams. He had stints in Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton. He's now 28. This could be his last chance to make his mark. So with Zach Collaros not dressing, I'm really interested to see what these young Winnipeg quarterbacks can do. And I'm really interested to see what Edmonton's quarterbacks can do, because they're bringing all of them, Rod. All the quarterbacks are dressing for Edmonton tonight, and I think they're going to play. So I'm watching the quarterbacks tonight. I think we'll get some questions answered regarding those 2 clubs.
Should be fun. Enjoy it, John, and tremendous work on the CBA coverage. Thank you on behalf of this fan. I appreciate it. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, Rod. Thanks for having me.
3downnation.com's John Hodge. One final time from Estevan coming up. The Taco Time viewer takeover is next. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
The Rod Pedersen Show, brought to you by Power Dodge Estevan. Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
This is a bedtime story.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
On location at the 2022 Centennial Cup, brought to you by the City of Estevan.
It's a quick overtime brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the Stanley Cup playoffs. By the way, viewer takeovers for Taco Time. Did you know that Taco Time has been around for over 40 years in Canada? This iconic brand and a Canadian favorite serves over 3.2 million burritos, 2.5 million tacos, and over 1 million Mexi fries every single year, Moose. People would like to talk just as much about the television of the games as they would about the games, and that's cool. They're talking about the CFL games that are on TV or aren't. Clay is watching, and Brandon. Clay, we need to hear from you more. Clay watches every day, but very rarely comments in.
Right.
Clay says TSN still underpays for the strong ratings the CFL gets them, but there's no competition from Sportsnet, so they get a great deal. I'd like to see every game on television, but again, that's not my forte. Wilf is watching in Steinbach, Manitoba. He says, Centennial Cup or World Poker? I guess gambling rules the airwaves. That's longer than we have time for to get into.
Yeah.
The poll question will be live for about 22 more hours for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center with dealerships across the prairies with Capital. Should the Blake Coleman goal have counted in Game 5, Oilers-Flames, Battle of Alberta? 60% saying yes, it should. And I think that would be a good way as we're at a hockey tournament to end the show, Moose. I feel so bad for the Flames that the season would end that way. I do feel it cost them the game. The goal should have counted. I think most of us believe that. But they weren't even. It's a 5-game series, man. It was almost a sweep.
I know.
So that it didn't cost them the series. And they know that.
It didn't cost them the series, no. And you look at Game 4, I thought Calgary was the better team. I thought they were, pretty even in Game 3. They were the better team in Game 1. You're the better team for sure in 3 of the games. It was kind of a split in 2. But you lost the series, 4-1. So they got a lot of soul searching to do, a lot of looking in the mirror. But much like I said with Toronto, I think the team is very good. I think the core is very good. I know people are going to be asking about what do you do with Matthew Tkachuk now and Mark
Gaudreau.
And Gaudreau, Johnny Gaudreau. But I don't think, don't panic. The group is great. Keep adding little pieces. The core is good. The future is bright for Edmonton. But right now, it's really bright for Edmonton.
And who saw this coming? It's Stanley Cup playoffs. It's a whole new season. Mercury's in retrograde. Some weird stuff's going on. Tony Cernick writes in. He was the big guy in the Philly Flyers jersey last night.
Yeah.
He says, thank you to the RP team for promoting our beautiful city and celebrating Bruin hockey. Well, thank you, Estevan, for bringing us. This is my second hometown. Last minute of play in the RP show. Last minute of play. Trent Bruner in Norway. We need another commercial network to take a chance on the CFL or buy some games from TSN. Okay, fair. Chris says, my cousin Chris, regarding the Centennial Cup, where is it? She says, nowhere in southern Alberta has it even been mentioned. The only place talking about it is the RP show. I can't speak for them. That's how this business has changed. We've got it all to ourselves. Is that selfish? They gave it to us.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Now we get to watch a doubleheader playoff games today, quarterfinals, semifinals tomorrow, head home Sunday. Bob's your uncle, back on the air on Monday.
Bob's your
Thanks,
uncle.
Moose.
Thank you.
Thanks to Joe Watson, John Hodge, our live studio audience today. Check social media for that. We've been retweeting their photos. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you, Estevan and Hockey Canada. And we'll see you all Monday, noon Eastern. I never told you to shut up. Well, a couple times.
Yeah.
How about that? Right on. Bingo! LFG. I like it. Let's go. Hot take. Spicy. Approved. Oh, no. Bob's your uncle. How about that? Oh, good one, Rod. Let's go.